Hello and welcome to ElevatePod, where we elevate your mindset, inspire your spirit, and ignite your leadership journey. This podcast is brought to you by Elevate Leadership Services. My name is Pearl.
And I'm Chiwechungu.
We are the co-founders of Elevate Leadership Services and the hosts of ElevatePod. The Elevate Pod is dedicated to inspiring listeners, focusing on minorities and immigrants. We offer tools, resources, and pathways to foster personal and professional development.
Thank you, Pearl. Today, we are greatly honored to interview Guleena Bakshi, who will share her journey, her experiences, her thoughts, her insights on leverage voice to maintain peace and harmony, something we need in today's world. So today we explore something simple, yet transformational. Your voice. Not how loud it is, not how powerful it sounds, but how calm it remains. Because the tone of your voice can either escalate chaos or create calm in the middle of it. Peace is not only built through actions, it is built through how we speak. Before we forge in our conversation with Guleena, I would like to give you her rich bio. Guleena Bakshi is an enterprise technology leader with extensive experience guiding complex multi-stakeholder initiatives with large public sector environments. She is known for her ability to bring strategic clarity, governance, discipline, and executive alignment to high visibility programs operating under regulatory and physical oversight. With certification including PMP, PMI-ACP, Safe Agilist, SA, Safe Government Practitioner, SGP, and CSM. I think we need to ask her to define all these as she talks about them. Guleena integrates structure, delivery frameworks, with control stakeholder engagement practices. Her expertise spans portfolio governance, modernization initiatives, cross-functional alignments, and navigating competing priorities while maintaining forward momentum. She has built a reputation for stabilizing high-pressure environments, facilitating constructive dialogue across organization boundaries, and translating strategic vision into executable roadmaps. Her leadership approach emphasizes disciplined execution, transparent communication, and proactive risk management to ensure outcomes remain aligned with enterprise objectives. Guleena's philosophy is grounded in the belief that composure and clarity at the leadership level directly influences organization performance. By fostering psychological safety, accountability, and shared ownership, she helps teams move from friction to focus, and from complexity to coordinated delivery. That is what she does. Guleena, can you add anything to your short bio that I just gave?
Sure, thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. I think you very, very well and eloquently shared my experience. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. And thank you for coming. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you, Guleena. Have you ever walked into a room that felt tense until one calm voice shifted everything? No shouting, no arguing, just a steady presence, the power of a calm voice. Today on ElevatePod, we explore how leveraging your voice intentionally creates harmony at work, at home, and within yourself. So let's dive into our questions for today. Can you share a defining moment when you realize the power of your tone, either because it escalated a situation or it completely transformed it?
Thank you, Paul. And for the listeners, today is the Women's Leadership Day. So wishing all our viewers, all our followers, a happy Women's Day.
Wonderful.
Coming back to your
Congratulations.
So coming to your question, Pearl, I'll actually tell you a situation what happened with me a few years ago. I was doing a project which was, I would say, almost close to probably $5 million project. And our stakes were really high. So we were based, it was a financial company, but it was also based, their sister location was in Wales, Singapore, India. And we were supposed to go live, and we have done all our testing. Everything was done. And we were supposed to migrate the changes from the, from our quality environment into a live environment, so-called production environment in technical terms. And I still remember our vendor for Singapore, for whatever reason happened, they couldn't deliver because we were supposed to go live in the weekend. And I know the COVID happened and a lot of his developers were not available to do the data migration. At that moment, I had two options. Either to go back to the contract and show them, hey, this is what was decided, right? This was what was being decided. Or I can remain calm and see what is, as a human, what can we do better in the situation? Because you will agree with me, at the end of the day, it's not about how many projects were successful. It's all about how many memories we have created. How have we helped our users, right? So that moment, I came from a place of compassion. I came from a place of reasoning. And I told him, I understand, but why don't you go to your subcontractors, get some people, and let's, extend the go live from 1 week. And mind you, that moment, what was going in my mind was, I can use a sharp tongue and, I can change the whole dynamics, the whole morale that I have built, or I can bite my tongue and make things happen. Have you heard a phrase saying, with a spoon of honey, you can attract more flies than with a jar of vinegar?
Yep.
And I'm happy to share with you that vendor, he went back and made everything possible. And you know what? We were able to be successful in implementing that project. It was a highly political project. So that's when I learned that, that calmness can also move mountains.
Oh, it does. It does. Yes. And I think maybe this is what sometimes we are forgetting, that the mountains can be moved because it allows people to buy in. It allows others to, actually, it's like you're respecting each other. But also people start realizing that you care for one another, not just of the business. It really matters that you have to move the business. Yeah. But you also have to build those relationships because you will leverage them at a later time. You will use them at a later time.
Well said. And I think that's what I think sometimes we forget because, we have become that humans. We are in this AI race. Mm-hmm. This, we have to do this job. We have to do this many, check, all these items off my list that we are forgetting that this is the moment.
Yes.
How are we coming across to the other person? Can we have that compassion? Can we come from a place of love and that to our fellow, even stakeholders, whether it's your job, whether it's your church, whether it's your family, whether it's anything. That's how I see.
Yeah. So what you're saying is whenever something happens, step out, look in, and assess how do we approach, how do we move forward? Because every decision that you make, if you make it in a hasty way, then you actually can end up losing. But if you make it such that you understand what is, I think, as you explained, I'll go back to your project. That was a humongous project, and the impact was going to be huge. But you also decided not to rush into saying, okay, I want it to be delivered today. Let's go live today, because you can go live and you may have lost everything, right? But what you gained was more than what you would have gained if you had forced the issues, or if you had reacted otherwise where you were panicking, right?
Yes. You bring a very valid point about gaining something. So I'll tell you a story, a small story. My mom told me this story years ago when I was coming to US. She said, "Guleena, this has actually happened with her." So my mom, we are Indians, right? We all love
Yes.
the bread.
Yeah.
So one day she went to this bakery near our house, and so we wanted the fresh bread. And so we went to get the fresh bread, and the baker, for some reason, he has already sold out. And my mom, I think, went at like 11 o'clock in the morning. It was sold out, right? The bakery opens at 5 o'clock or 6 in the morning. And the baker told my mom, "Miss Bakshi, I have a couple of pieces left, but they're not fresh. But the baker, probably 2 blocks from here, he has fresh bread. Why don't you go there and get?" And that moment, my mom was thinking, he could have made money, right? He could have just sold her that whatever stale bread he has. But at that time, he came from a place of love. He came from a place of that, thinking first about my mom, then about his business. And so now what happened was my mom, she went to the other baker, got the bread, prepared our meals, everything, the brunch. But the lesson I learned that moment, I mean, this is my perception, what I learned was that day, the guy got so many blessings, not only from my mom, from the other baker, because she gave him the business.
Yes.
Also think about my mom, who will she go in future?
To the same person, yeah. So she gained a client for life.
Yes. That's what it's all about, right?
Yes.
Coming from that place of that, having that ethics, having that human touch.
Yes. 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 She gained a client. And the client who always, and now, not only her, not only your mother, but the mother told you the story. If you go, who do you trust? You go to the same person.
Yes.
Right? And your mother will tell and spread the news. So
how do you think all these businesses work in today's world? It's word of mouth.
Word of mouth. Yeah. No, that's an impactful way. I think it's very important that we all sit still for a moment. Pal, your thoughts?
So many thoughts running in my mind right now.
Yeah.
It's such a simple topic.
Yeah.
But as we talk, as you explain the different situations, you can see how powerful it is. And so I'll go into my next question. Can you share some specific experiences where you consciously decided to regulate your voice differently? I think this goes to tone. What changed in that moment? How does, let's say, staying calm under pressure shift things in particular situations?
One thing that I always practice is actually listening. And if you look at the word listening or listen, it means, turn it around, it means silent.
Yeah.
Love that.
So there was a situation at my work where I just, it was also again a very highly political project. And, I went there. But one thing I was noticing was there was a lot of there was not staff retention, many people were resigning. And I couldn't understand why is there so much chaos? What is the reason why people means why the employers, their set of developers were leaving the company. And my personality is I always do something called RCA, root cause analysis. If a person is behaving like this, there has to be a reason because, we humans are very reasonable creature. So if I'm behaving in such a way, there has to be something that came, right? Some incident happened or something.
Correct.
So what I did, rather than doing a mass meeting, or a conference call, what I did, I started doing like one-on-ones with the developers, with my team, with my analyst. And I wanted to do quickly, I wanted to do the audit and understand where are they coming from. And again, mind you, I'm listening. I'm trying to understand where is the challenge. So one thing I noticed was lot many of these employees have been in the same position since last 6-7 years. And they have not got that change. Like they wanted to, like, like they say career upward mobility, they wanted to grow up, but they were not given chances. It could be the chances because, sometimes we get budget cuts. Sometimes there is some other reasons. And so, like I said earlier, my personality is I want to come from the place of love and compassion, even at work. My thing is, this is how I define leader. To me, a leader means somebody who is not only growing, but he's also making sure his team or her team grows also along with them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the second thing is, I want to remove any impediments from my team, like which is not helping them perform at a highest level.
Yes.
So in this, that's what I define as a transformational leader. That's what I stand for.
Yes.
So when I was meeting with my team, one thing was very clear, that they were unhappy because they have not been given chances or they have not been trained in the new technology. And a few years back, it was all about coding. Then it's no coding. Now it's all about web apps that you can do from open source. So this is what I did, Paul. And this is exactly my words to him. I said, you understand the state is going through budget cuts. I cannot promise you sending you for a training because that will be like $10,000-$15,000. But what I can do is I can make you shadow the senior consultants, the new guys who knows the technology inside out. And I told him, I said, this is what my training plan for you would be. You shadow them. And then later on, I want you to start doing the minor changes, like, when we are implementing the software. And guess what? And I told him, I'm going to do the not weekly check-ins, but bi-weekly check-ins with you. And then later we'll do monthly check-ins.
Wonderful.
Guess what? Same thing, all the 5 developers and the business analyst. And like I always believe in the power of osmosis.
Of course.
Guess what? And my developers, they were super happy. Nobody left. Everybody was learning. And it was more like win-win for everybody, right? Yes. Because I tell you what, my biggest thing is, if these developers leave, they're leaving also the institutional knowledge. And now I have to hire another person who has his own learning curve. 5 to 6 months they take to understand just the how the nuances, like how does the company works, what are the policies, the procedures, the SOPs. We are humans. We need to take that time. So, and I think that moment I felt kudos to listening to the team, because and I think that's when I'm going to go back to that human touch. There's a reason why this universe gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Of course. I love that. Yes, I think
so many good things.
but most of us, we have 2 mouths and 1 ear. If you see how the world is going, everything is happening, is we talk first. And that's why I think there was that question about voice. And I think you've articulated very well. I don't even need to ask about that question. I think as a leader, for me, what I see in you is the leader that I admire. A leader that fosters, a leader that wants the people to grow. Because what I tell everybody in my leadership as well is that if anybody is doing well, that reports to you. They make you look smarter, right? They do your work for you because you are just overseeing them. You hear what maybe they come to tell you the story or their needs. Your goal is to find the resources they need. Your goal is to support them when they need you. So your goal is to be there. And thank you for being that leader, because that's what you want. And actually, brain drain, with what you talked about, is retains brain people. Even if their finances are lower, they will remain there because you as a leader appreciate them. Today, they say that many people leave organization not because of the organization. They leave organizations because of their leaders.
Yes.
Right? And we need more leaders like you. People who can really uplift, find other means Yeah, you may not have the money, but you can do what they call the 70-20-10. So what you did, you gave them the 20, right? The 70 is their experience on their own job, what they're doing. The 20 is what they learn from others, the mentoring. The 10 is what you couldn't afford them, which was the budget, which you didn't have.
Yes.
So I appreciate that, and I am thankful to hear about this. We need more leaders like you, many of them. Yes.
We need more transformational leaders.
Of course.
That's what I'm hearing from this, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
You talked about listening, you talked about empathy, just adding the human touch to leadership. And sometimes that's what sometimes leaders forget. We're just going on operations from task to task and checking off the box. But then we're dealing with human beings. We need to listen. And I especially love the root cause analysis.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I could equate this to even at home, you know, being the leaders in our home, even in parenting. There's certain behaviors that, as parents, when we see those behaviors, we need to look back and examine the root cause of that behavior, because most times if we address the behavior itself directly without examining the root cause, we miss it altogether. So I like that application in the leadership space as well. So you did not only achieve those tasks, you actually ended up retaining employees. That is transformational. I
Yes,
love
yes, yes. And you know what? It's also, I think if we go above that, it's actually bringing in that EI,
Mhm.
the
Yes.
emotional intelligence,
Mhm.
right? And I think this emotional intelligence is lacking in many places, even in our homes. It
Mhm.
lacks a lot. And sometimes, when you look at every one of us, when we're at work, our EI is where?
It's up
Up.
there.
When we come home, before we enter the door, it's
Out
like
the
we are
window.
screaming. I said, come on, I don't think you can do the same at work. So, yes, I think we also need to be transformational, even in our own homes. But as we become transformational in our own homes, we elevate, we bring the new leaders who are the children that we want to grow.
Yes.
And I think when they start doing that, they listen. My parents, she found that the entire house was in tatters, but she beat her tongue. She wasn't screaming at me. Yeah, yeah. So, all right. I think we can discuss this topic. This is a very good topic. We can go in different tangents, but I think let's stay and ask as many questions as we have, so that we can hear more from what your experiences have been. I think one of the questions that I would like to ask you is, how do you stay calm under pressure when you know that maybe the situation or the outcome will be different on a professional level, right? And have you noticed maybe in the room, when you do that, how does the room become steady? How do you influence that room?
Right. I think it's multiple questions in one question. So
Yes.
I'll share with you another incident. So I was doing this project in Chicago, and this company, this pharma company, is based in Brazil, Ecuador, Japan. And so we were supposed to, because they were basically, and I don't know if I told you, I used to work in HCM, like ERPs, that's what I implement. HCM, PeopleSoft, like our supply chain. So
Okay.
basically, not many ERPs I worked in. And this company had their own legacy system or whatever in-house, and we were moving now into SAP. And in SAP HR, we were doing was basically payroll. The situation in hand was, when we were implementing the payroll, I think it was almost like 80 or 100 people's paycheck got screwed up. And mind you, um, People in private sector may think, oh, it doesn't matter, but no, it matters because there are people who are living paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck.
There are people who have to pay child alimony, or there's something happens, so there's an overdraft fee. There's so much fees involved, fines involved.
Correct.
So we cannot technically take it lightly.
Correct.
So I know this happened, and then I was in a meeting, in a conference call, and this manager, the client side, they came and he started shouting at my team. And mind you, I'm there in the conference room. And like what I said earlier was, as a leader, my first thing is I have to protect my team. I have to remove the impediments. And if the impediment is somebody shouting at them or somebody being mean to them, I have to stop it right there and then, right? So what I did, I talked to that manager and I said, listen, you have a problem, we'll fix it. But nobody gives you the authority to talk in that tone.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if these people are from, they're from a different country or whatever, but we are here to deliver the work. So let's, maintain that boundary. And that moment, I felt like if I didn't speak up, I would have never got the work done. Plus, it's not also about like gaining the respect. It's all about making sure we value the humans, right? That's what matters to me.
Correct. And setting the boundaries. I think it's also setting the boundaries that I think as leaders, you can cross the boundary, and he crossed those boundaries.
Yes. So that's what I always say is like that respect for human is very important for me.
Yes.
Doesn't matter if you are a coworker, if you're my peer, if you're a janitor, if you're a CIO, I don't care.
Yes.
To me, you're a human first.
Yes.
And I love what, Nelson Mandela did. He was all about freedom of human. That's what he wanted. So I think that's what I practice, even at work. Doesn't matter if you come from a worker visa or something, you are a human first to me.
Correct.
What I did was that moment I gained the respect of all my
your team. Yeah.
Right? That was one. And then, like I always say, my philosophy is RCA, root cause analysis. So I told him, I said, listen to that manager that, you know what, we'll go back. But I was very assertive, very firm, maintaining my boundary. And I told him, we are going to go back. We are going to do the RCA and we're going to let you know the results. If it's if we did wrong, we will fix it.
Correct.
So what I did, and I said, give me 1 week. We're going to come back to you with our findings. And guess what? My team backed me. We were working 16 hours a day to figure out where the challenge was. And you will agree, in IT world, there is something called GIGO. Garbage in, garbage out. You put a bad prompt, you get a bad answer. You put a good prompt, you get a good answer.
Correct.
Guess what? I started doing everything, going back to the configuration, going back to the tables, looking everywhere. Where could have been the problem? And we started from inception. Guess what?
Inception.
Yeah. So what we did, when we met with the manager that following week, I showed him the screenshots because you know me, I can be a lawyer also. I'm in IT, but I also work as an auditor. And so what I did, I came back, I had screenshots after screenshots. His employee, the data entry person from his team, actually entered the wrong hours, the wrong times. That's why the paycheck got screwed.
Yeah.
So, but again, I'm the kind of person, I'll maintain my peace and maintain the way I speak, my tone. So what I did, I told him, I said, we understand it's a human behavior. This analyst could be new, but we are here to support you. That's why you hired us.
Correct.
And this is what we did. We have created the SOPs. We have updated those, standard operating procedures, the job aids, and this is what we have. And we can also conduct the training sessions with your analysts and your team. Because remember, I'm all about, building those bridges, not burning those bridges.
Correct. Wow.
And I think that moment he apologized to me and he apologized to my staff.
Wow.
So that's what happens, right? So I think those are the things that we come from a place of compassion, because again, when he was getting mad at my team because his name was also on the line. And, we people are so mature. We are so wise. It's like, if something happens, we become, I always ask myself, am I going to be a thermostat or a thermometer in my meeting?
Yes.
And that's what I teach my team also, right? Yeah. I want all my team to be a thermostat, no thermometer when we go. No. The users can be mad, anybody can be mad, but we need to be calm and collected and poised in our calls.
Correct. But and this is the the challenge that I see is this finger pointing. Before you know what the issue is, you point at somebody that you are the wrong person. You haven't even analyzed the information that you have fed in. Because it's also incumbent upon him to go and see before he comes to you, did my team do well? Did they enter this information well?
But Jimmy, understand one thing. The kind of life we are living right now, that patience is missing. The key is the patience, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is, I need a food, I go through a driveway, I can get my food. I need a coffee, go through driveway, get the coffee, or microwave.
I have no patience, yeah.
They have no patience. So I think the patience, and plus there are some things like when he maybe have called by other directors from Japan or Brazil, who knows, when the paycheck got screwed, and he has to hear all the, he has to take all the bashing.
Yes.
So we don't know.
Yes.
So and that, so like remember how there's an analogy I saw, the child kicks the dog, and I was trying to understand why did the child kicks the dog, because the child got scolded from his mom, and the mom got
scolded from the husband.
And the husband got scolded by his
from the work.
mom. Yeah. So it's like that ripple effect, right? So it's like, but somebody has to be that blocker. Somebody has to be that wall that I am not going to pass that anger. Yeah. And it stops at me,
Yes, yes. There is a saying which says 10% is what happens to us. 90% is what we do with what happens to us, yes. Right? Exactly what you're explaining. I think there's a story actually where the father woke up in the morning and the child dumped the milk on his suit, and he was so angry, and what went after that time, everything cascaded downwards, right?
Right.
And then you step back and if that father could have just said, oh, it's okay. Because what happened? He shouted at the child was so annoyed, he was annoyed, and when he went to work, everything was not good. If you step back and say, it's okay, it happened, I'm going to change the suit and be in another one. Let's go. It's all right. What could have happened then? Yeah. So yes, these things happen. But at the same time, when they happen, then you have to be the adult in the room.
Yes, that's $1 million thing. Yes, we have to be the adult. And like you said about EI, it's like you have to practice that emotional intelligence at any given time. And how Paul was saying, empathy. We need to have empathy. That moment I had to have empathy for my manager, plus I have to have empathy for my team also.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's when we can move forward.
Yeah.
And the story you've given actually gives a flip side of that question, both sides of the response. So your response was how you stay calm under pressure. You're still firm and steady and calm, but stating your boundaries under pressure. And the flip side, like Chiwe mentioned, he could have been patient or gone back to see how everything started, but he responded the flip side of your response under pressure, maybe because of the pressure he was also receiving. That was his response under pressure. So you've given us two scenarios in your response. Yeah. Being able to control and remain steady and still be calm, even though we're experiencing pressure. But you also showed us how it can be a ripple effect.
Oh, yeah.
So every response has a reason behind that response. Sometimes we need to practice the benefit of doubt. Even when we think we have all the information we need, you just never know. So empathy in every situation, respect, and maintaining those boundaries in the end serves us a lot. It gains us respect as well. And your scenario just takes us right into perfect way to take us into the next question. You just led us. You just led us to that next question. Almost explained it in your scenario, but let's still get to it. What do you have to say to some people that feel calm voices or being calm is a state of weakness? But you still you give us a little hint in there, but some people think being calm is weakness. So, what would you say to that? And if I could add a second part of this question, because you mentioned your team, which is great, you brought in other people who are experiencing the calmness. We talked about the ripple effect. So, can you explain how you respond to people who think being calm is weakness? And how that can be a ripple effect in your environment. Those that see you being calm, what effects
Exactly.
does it create for them in that environment?
Perfect.
No, that's a really good question. I have seen it in the past where, and it's not about, having that calm voice, they take it as weakness. They may sometimes, because it has happened to me not once or twice, multiple times. And mind you, I have 20 years worth of IT experience in US, just in US, not in India, just in US. And I've seen that where people, they think, oh, she's minority, she's an Indian girl, you know, and they keep on having that judgment. So I think when people, they judge you, oh, because she's calm, it's because I'm being respectful. I see you as a human, that's why I'm respectful. But at the same time, I have a boundary. And I have my own mechanism of tracking work. I have own mechanism of making sure the work gets done. So how I do it is, let's say, for example, I'll do a role play. So if, let's say, I have to produce a work where I'm dependent on somebody from the other side, and this person is being unprofessional, or they don't understand my ask, what I normally do is in a meeting, when I tell them I'm going to send an email saying, hey John, as on this day, this time, this conversation, this is what is expected of you, and I need these answers by this date. Email will help, right? It's a proof. So if you go to any court, what is the proof? Emails, right? Some written documentation. So that's what I do. And the other thing is, it's shame on people when they take calmness as weakness. It's shame on them. But for me, what I see is if somebody's coming across very calm in the meeting, I actually applaud them, because I know in this time and age, there could be so many things happening in people's life, but they chose to be calm in the meeting. They chose to be that thermostat in that call, in the conference call, right? So I have huge respect for them for not being that chaos in the meeting, but being that calming factor in that calls, So coming back to your question, many people will take that as a weakness, but you just need to stand your grounds. That's it. You have your email thing. And let's say if I give the date today is March 8th, I send an email saying, hey, by 2 business days, I need this response. And the person doesn't respond. Sure enough, I'll send another email. And then if I have seen many times people, they won't respond, that's fine. Copy their manager or their director. And then, the next thing you know, within 30 seconds, when you copy their manager, the response comes. I don't like to drop to that level, but there is something in corporate world, it's called CYA. And for the listeners, I would like them to go Google the word what CYA means. And so basically that's what happens. And if the person is going to behave like a juvenile, it's up to them. But we are professional people. Yeah. So that's how I see. Does that paint a picture? Well,
it does. It does. It does. Very well said.
All right. Okay. What did conflict sound like in your space, in your home? And how has that shaped the way you use your voice today? Because there is something that was instilled in you that allows you to rise up beyond the chaos that's going on.
That's a really good question, Chiboy. So growing up in India, how I saw was my dad, he worked in the Indian Army, so armed forces basically. And I used to only see him, like I would say once a year during holidays, during Christmas. So that's how it used to be. And I think somewhere the spiritual aspect, people think it's my mom who gave me that, but I think it was my dad. That spiritual part came from my dad, because whenever he used to come, what he used to do was he used to take us to the slums. And what he used to make us wake up in the 5 a.m, get ready, take shower, everything, and then go to the slums. And mom and my aunties, they used to cook food. And so we used to go there with the people. And I used to be thinking, hey, this is Christmas time. I need my gifts. Where are my gifts? But they're making me wake up early morning and go there. So that was one thing. It was all about giving, right? So that was one thing. The other thing, I know you may think, okay, the question is about growing up. So this is a couple of things. I'm going to connect the dots. I'll tell you very shortly. Be with me. The other thing was I observed my mom and my dad, the dynamics between them. Dad is a kind of person, if he wants something, he's going to go get it. Like he's a go-getter. Mom is the same way. But mom is more like, like if we have a lion and the cat. So my dad would be the lion, but my mom is the cat. So mom is like, she'll be very calm. She won't say much. Nobody can like ruffle her feathers. Like she's very calm. She knows how to get the work done. But at the same time, she's all about like, remember I talked to you about the thermostat and thermometer? So she's the thermostat. No, nothing, anything will happen in the world, but you come to my house, it'll be calm. Calm as an ice, like what do you say, cold as an ice, like, she'll be like that. And I was like, how does she do that? And I've seen like lot many things happen, like when her father died, she was very close to her dad, how she maintained. When her mother lost her eyesight in a bad, like she had a typhoid or a jaundice something, and my nana, and I've told multiple times in my Toastmaster story. So she lost her eyesight, and my mom, bless her heart, she started, helping her siblings, everybody. And I have seen her, and she lost her sister, and she was remaining always the calm, So I felt like that's something I learned from my mom, like how to, like the duck, when you look at the duck in that pond, in that river, she's paddling, but nobody can see. They only see the duck going, but she's paddling underneath the water, right? So yeah. I see my mom like that. And that's when I learned from my mom how to remain calm. At the same time, I also want to give credit to the universe, because I was hardly like 23, 22 and a half when I came to US, and I'm 45 now. So now all these years, right, the experiences that I have gained in US also helped me become this more mature, wise woman that I have become. Everybody I met, it's like that. It's like, what can I learn from them? The tools they gave me. So I think coming back to answer your question or to summarize that, definitely it was my mom and dad, and they just helped me grow as this mature, this refined woman that I am today.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful legacy they left in you, and the legacy that is very contagious, and the legacy that you are bringing up in your leadership, because you haven't forgotten it. So kudos to your mom and dad. I'm so thrilled to hear about them.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have the last question before we go?
Yeah. All right.
I wish we had more time, my dear. I wish we had more time.
Mm-hmm. No, you have shared so many great nuggets, and I still want to squeeze out one more before we leave today. For our audience, what practice would you leave for our audience for them to practice throughout the week? What can they do to leverage their voice intentionally to create harmony in their environment? So what advice can you give?
Right. So I would suggest one thing, whether at work, whether at church, whether at, parties or friend circle, wherever, anything that happens, right? I want them to come from a place of love and compassion, like take 2 steps back, regulate their voice, take 3 deep breaths. And sometimes, I could be in the meetings. I just quickly, or between my meetings, I just quickly go to the restroom, just regulate my breath, which is taking 3 or 5 deep breaths, and tell them I have this under control. With God in my side, I can make wonders happen. So remain calm, come back to the meeting. And then even if, let's say, your stakeholders or your family members or whatever people you have, they're still giving you a hard time, ask yourself, what am I learning in this situation? That's one thing, because I do the same thing. Like, what am I learning? What is universe trying to what is universe trying to make me learn in this situation? And, this is what I believe.
Yeah.
Anything that happens, it could not be permanent for sure. It's only for some time, and it's there to make you stronger.
Yeah.
And so, like, for example, I'll give you a situation. It was almost, I would say, 7-8 years ago, I joined a project. It was a crazy project. And the worst part was the manager. She was micromanager. And she used to be like, always like asking, hey, how do you do this? I mean, I love accountability. Don't get me wrong. I love accountability. But at the same time, there's a boundary, right? You don't cross that boundary. Not texting me or messaging me every like 1 hour or hour and a half. Hey, what's the status on this? What's the status on that? That doesn't make sense. And then, and that time 8 years ago, I'm still learning. I'm a student, right? I was like, so I went back and I asked myself, what am I learning in this situation? Definitely, I don't want to be like her. And at the same time, when I become a manager like her, that's not how I'm going to present myself. My team, they are humans at the end of the day, right? So I learned how I am not going to behave when I become that at that level. Same thing when you see somebody at your, I would say at your office parties who is being like a little bit nosy or being a little bit, very desensitive. Ask yourself, I'm not going to be that person.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I think that's what I feel that universe is trying to help us, because at the end of the day, why do you think those people cross our path? Because at the end of the day, if you have that spiritual aspect, that you have to remember that universe brings these people to make you stronger. And I'll tell you, that Chicago job I did, I was able to deliver. And then, quickly I came back. I left Chicago because it was too cold. But then at the same time, I felt I could have stayed there more, So if you keep on dodging, like I would say, the situation, you keep on running away from your situation, then that situation, the small situation becomes like a mountain.
Yeah.
So, it's like every step of your way, you're getting these situations to make you stronger. Build that muscle so you can, lift that 1 pound, then you can lift 5 pounds. Then now you can lift 20 pounds weight because you have developed that muscle. So I think the universe, or this whole, I would say the nature, wants you to become stronger. That's what you have to understand. So I think the one lesson or one exercise I can leave for the listeners would be, guys, go back and say why. Don't say why this is happening to me. Ask yourself, what can I learn in this situation? How can I better present myself in this situation? Always remain calm, no matter what, but have firm boundaries. You're not a doormat. You have to understand that. And the other person is also not a doormat. So don't be narcissist, So remain calm and come from that place of that high performers, like leader, basically.
Wonderful.
Wow, that's remarkable. That's so remarkable.
Wonderful. And that's why they say things happen for us, not to us. And I think when you look back today for what happened yesterday, you realize that there was God just driving this situation. But most of us, we want to know why. And we never get the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guleena, thank you so much. Such a simple topic, but the stories that you've told are just magnificent. They're thought-provoking, and they allow our audience that are listening to you to see your passion and to see how you care and how you do things with love. To our audience, thank you for joining. Just imagine a workplace where calm is contagious, a home where tone invites safety, a community where disagreement does not lead to destruction, but to an understanding. Peace is not accidental, it is practiced. It lives in the pauses we take before speaking, the words we choose, and the tone we bring to every room and every discussion or interaction we have. Your voice has power. It can escalate tension or it can restore harmony. What do you choose? So remember this. Peace often begins with something simple, yet very powerful: the discipline of your voice. Again, I'll repeat: the discipline of your voice and the respect of the space. Over to you, Pal.
What a remarkable experience. Thank you for taking us on this wonderful journey with you. Here at ElevatePod, we believe growth begins from within. And today's reminder is simple. If you want peace around you, cultivate the peace within you, because the voice you carry into the world shapes the environment around you. So let your voice carry safety. Let your tone carry leadership, as we have heard and learned today. Let your calm carry influence. When we learn to leverage our voice with wisdom, we create spaces of peace and harmony wherever we go. So, this is ElevatePod, where we elevate our voice so we can elevate our world. We hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you for joining us on this journey to elevate and inspire. Until next time, lead with purpose and grow with passion.
Thank you so much.